Wency and Siva. I welcome you both, and thank you so much to give us time.
So first we'll turn the map upside down, where Sri Lanka is on top and India is below, right? We always think of the North Pole on top and South Pole below. We'll turn it upside down. And let's start the conversation that way. So Sri Lanka becomes the diamond on top of India's, head, and not like India's feet is below on top of Sri Lanka. We need to turn it the other way around. And then we talk about how Ravan was this great god that actually Ram is the transgressor, who actually steals Sita from, steals someone's bride. So that's how we should start the conversation.
Yes.
Shiva is still thinking.
No, as a Sri Lankan, we cannot do anything. We just have a look at and we just looking up only. And also looking down, kind of giving an excuse, please. It's not only in India also, no? Globally, we have that bow.
But again, see, I come from Goa, and that global bow is there in Goa also, because I think it's this whole idea of tourism, which actually makes us, there's colonialism, but it's also this tourist trade, like, yes, sir, your lunch, sir, your lemonade, sir, tip, sir, thank you so much, sir, we'll shine your shoes, sir.
And also we have that, the resource that we have a less resource. That is also the problem, like how to call that we don't have a petrol right now here, and we don't have any gas, and we have to buy it in the other country. That is also kind of economic bonus that we have. Otherwise, we can fight or we can against anything, but we cannot. Only we have a land, beautiful place, and it's very small country. And also people also within the country, we are fighting Tamil and Sinhalese. We had a long war, still going on without weapons. 2009 actually end the weapon war end. Now it's without weapon we are fighting. As an artist, only we are just compromise each other. Otherwise, our normal people, they can't compromise. You are Sinhalese, I am Tamil. You are the Sinhala country, I am the Tamil Elam. Even when is this campaign is happening in Colombo, our people are saying that there is a Sinhala country doing something else. Our country doesn't have any problem.
But again,
so Sakuntala also here, she can say something else. Oh, yeah.
Shakuntala is silent. Because even I think even Shiva thought with my surname Mendes, I'm Sinhalese. No, in a Sri Lankan context, I can become Sinhalese, no?
Yes.
Yeah. Shakuntala, hello.
Hi, Wency. Hi, Siva. So good.
Hi.
Guys. Sorry, I got a little late to join the meeting. And yes, I'm listening.
No worries. Hi, Priyanka. How are you? I got to meet Priyanka in Nepal also. She was very sweet. She took me for lunch also.
Yes.
Wow, nice.
Hi, Wency.
How are you doing? No.
All good.
Yes. So we're just starting, like, warming up. Because I think Shiva and me are quite political in that sense, in how we look and see these borders and boundaries. And for us, It was interesting to meet and maybe we should start with decolonizing and post-colonial before we start about our work. Then I don't think we need to talk about the work also. The work will happen automatically. Shiva, balls in your court. Or should I start with the first provocation? So I don't believe in post-colonial and decolonization, okay? Because all the theorists who talk about post-colonial and decolonial are firstly white people. And it's a white idea that they want, to like, which assaults them and makes them feel less guilty about how they have been for 5,000 years or 500 years or 2,000 years have been exploiting us. And then they use this new theory of post-colonial decolonization to like say that they're sympathetic and sad, and we should be better human beings. Because for me, the biggest thing what they erase is our anger. And that anger is very important for us. I'm not condoning violence. Anger may lead to violence, but by taking away our anger, they take away a big possibility of us bringing about reconciliation, and how we form the reconciliation is about us and how we choose to do it. How we go from anger to acceptance and forgiveness is our journey. They can't tell us to like erase our anger. I understand why they don't want that anger, because then it brings the question of reparations, and that means they have to get out of that, they have to give back all that they stole. And how are they going to give back everything that they stole? That means they have to live in poverty. Nobody wants to live in poverty. Nobody wants to live in that. Nobody wants to come out of the castle. No, that passport of theirs lets them travel the world free. They don't want to give that up. So I totally disagree with this post-colonial idea of decolonization. It's nonsense. It's only one marampatti. It's like one balm they're trying to put to soothe the global south and the third world, because actually we still have that exploitation of the third world by the first world. And I don't want to call it anything but that. I know nobody likes to use the word third world and first world anymore, but in today's time, and in especially a post-pandemic world, when we look at the problems and the, like Shiva was talking about in Sri Lanka, it is because we are the third world. And the first world is the first world. The global north is right on top and we are right at the bottom. So I disagree with decolonization. It's a white man agenda. And every artist, every curator, every university is now like, oh, we need to decolonize, we need to go through these 4 steps of decolonization. First, we need to bring about understanding. Then we need to have, careful discourse. But how? First, let us vent our anger. For 500, 800, 5,000 years, you've exploited us. You have to hear that. And we are going to be angry about it, right? All art is not, we'll make beautiful, hold hands and sing songs. Doesn't happen. Shiva.
Yeah. Even like as a practical, we don't have the we don't call it as a decolonization, but still we have the colonialized mind. As a few people only, as academic, and few people only thinking about and reading about and writing about it, rather than no applicable. Anna? So it's mean we have to individually, we have to think about each of us must be think about moving forward. But we have, in a sense, like when we think about like as a Tamil, we have a deep sense as a Tamil and as a, like a Jaffna person, we have that traditional food, traditional all the inhabitants we have. But some point we are jumping up for the colonialized and decolonialized. I don't call it like a decolonialized. We are just still jumping. Even we cannot understand. We are not in colonialized, and fully not packed. Even if you call it colonialized, everybody should be a colonialized person, right? So then only we can think about decolonialized. So that is also my personal opinion that I can share with you. Okay, for this introduction, open-end introduction, we will start. Mosoma, we are going to start our program. Is that okay? So, hi everybody, and welcome for this discussion. And thank you, Mosoma, giving this opportunity. It's kind of very privileged that we are here. So, first of all, I don't want to introduce in a deeper sense. We have like a 10 minutes. We have divided time very quickly, very shortly. So as an artist, I have mainly practiced painter and also trained it in the different medium and also different the character that I have, such as photographer, sculptor, installation artist, performance artist, digital artist, so graphic artist. So this kind of stuff I am making in a visually. That is a simple introduction. My objectifications, we can see that my body is a main focal point, and also body can be a metaphorical body, like, you know, understandable when you think about the metaphorical body. Sometimes I cannot imagine how my body is stable, where my mind and body is stable. There is the many incident I had. For example, that I faced very rooted or like a very struggleness of in my life. Two things, especially one is tsunami 2004 and 2009. The Sri Lankan ethnic war, but I can call it weapon war. It's I directly involved mean I got experience directly. I think none of you guys don't have this experience, but I have. And also my body got some of the piece of cells, and the wounded also, my leg also wounded. So I want to say that also, right? So that is the things I'm making, and also against imaginative landscape and seascape. So as we think about what is the imaginative landscape, it's kind of we displayed in many places. So when we think about Sri Lanka, so there is something in your mind, you will find out, okay, this is the figuratively, this is the Sri Lanka. But when I am thinking about my landscape, I forget, because every day is the landscape changing because of the militarization, because of there is a many political agenda that we are facing. And and also like I add some of the flowers in my painting or in my wherever I produce my work, and imaginative flower. It can be a whatever, call it flower or birds, and also animal. That is my objectifications. So as an artist, and my art can be witness or kind of personal memory, therapy, healing, and also telling the history, and also especially artist story. So now we are in a contemporary field that we are individually telling the story, right? And also art as a protest, resistance, answer, question, evidence, life, and plus hobby. So these are the layout. I'm just following myself. I don't know why. It is my reason. So this is my 2019 work that you can see. It's a performance I have done in Pakistan. So even you can see my wounded. There's a what's called left leg. You can find it. And okay, this work I want to little bit says, and I want to say something, and you might be understand what is struggleness of the fishing net and hanging without water, and kind of semi or half semi kind of nudeness, and also that masculinity, how it's working, and the hair and the body's color. There are many layers on it. You have to read about it. You have to think about it, right? So this is also kind of my self-portrait, 2010 I have done, and next one is my sister portrait, because I cannot say I lost my sister because I haven't seen her after 2009. So now how can I paint her and herself express, when we think about the expression, we only have the face that we totally say everything. But now the problem is, without my sister, how can I painted herself? And also that is also kind of ideal figure, this kind of LTT, what is called Ilam of Tamil Tiger, I don't know, like so liberal or something. That LTT, they are fighting for our nation. So some like single people are saying terrorist, and we are saying we are not terrorists. So now I frankly did this painting as my younger sister. She lost it by last war, and also she joined the LTT, like forcefully joined it. He was, I think he was 16 or something. She forcefully joined it, and she got an incident, some I heard, but I didn't see that. So that is the story. And also this self-portrait also, like ideally we lost something, our identity, because these days also we are still have that sympathetic of us. We are as a Tamil, we have all around the world, but we don't have a country. So that self-identity lost, and also the ideology of liberation and freedom, we lost it, right? And this also like a recent work, 2020, I guess I have done for my solo show. It's exhibited at Theatre Red Road Gallery in Colombo. So this is also like imaginative landscape, and my souls become a separate. And this body, when you look at really this body, it's turning like as unconditionally turn. So it's mean that express, or like we cannot say in a verbally. That is my basic idea. Even that I lost the landscape, I raised this landscape, and also I wanted this landscape, so I can't get it right. That is my things, and solely I was express about my work. Now I'm going to tell how I read the wency's. So as an artist, as an art historian, I found wency is very kind of unique character he has. So wency also talking about the skin, race, color, caste, ethnic, death, struggles of life. There are many things he has done. He has included his unfair and matty video or documentary film, which is very fabulous. I think you must have seen them. So this I just want to look at his work now. This is very very subtle, and you just see in the landscape like a sky and the river. There's no river. There's the paddy field and the and building, and when we enter this landscape, we will find there are many layers. When she talking about the water, river, even plot and land, special land, tree, house, people, mountain, animals, birds like a migration and local birds and wildlife, and also human everyday activities. So that when we look at his documentation, that give us more in deep, without knowing, we can realize what the people are facing. So like very clearly very shortly, very aesthetically when she mention it, right? And also this work, he has political question, and it can be a political anyway, and also religiously he questioning, castly questioning. There's many way, and just very sort out and very briefly said. And finally, I can say Vinci has many potential character. Still, he figure out, and also he's engaging more about into that. I believe that Vinci also doesn't have that art, the formal art education system, or I don't know, like we call it, like nowadays we should have any degree that we can show I'm an artist because I studied art. So when she doesn't have that certificate, I believe, so that is his plus point. That wise he went to the village, went to the many places to read the people, read what is the reality. So when she has one thing is kind of, he has a good artistic practice, and also he has a many character on himself, such as sociologist, psychologist, philosopher, reporter, anthropologist, art historian, storyteller, photographer, cinematographer, traveler, and even zoologist. So there are many layers on the Vinci's character when Vinci part is finished. And this is my new project for, I'm just wanted to share with you guys. If you have any suggestion or if you have an idea, please let me know. And also it is also kind of new work. I don't want to explain in a words now, so you can see it or whatever after question session you can ask it. This is my work that I want to show you. Yeah, thank you. This is against the colonial case. You know, when you really look at the background of my self-portrait, there is a Elizabeth Maharani. Okay, thank you very much. Here you go, Wency.
Okay, where do I start? Okay, so I want to actually start first from Shiva's work, because I think it's a good flow to continue even with the last photograph. When I see the man by the ocean, exactly this photograph, and there's another photograph where he's on the other side on his stomach lying down. Yes, one back, just one back. Yes, this. Now for me, this is a very iconic photograph that happens, because even this photograph, because in a global sense, it just, for me, it locates Sri Lanka beautifully, and it takes it all the way back to the universal of a global problem that we're having in terms of migration and politics and boundaries and borders. Because even when I see the boundary between the water and sky and between earth and water, and how, who can cross, who cannot cross, is it possible to cross, not possible to cross, it raises all these questions and possibilities of our materiality of our body, where we are not allowed to do this. There was this, I don't know if you'll have seen this, there was a photograph of this migrant child, baby, who was migrating from Africa to Europe, Italy, if I'm not mistaken, and the child had drowned because they don't let the boats reach the shore. And there's a photograph of
Syria. No, Syria. It is Syria.
It's Syria. Yeah, it's a Syrian child,
Yeah.
exactly, who's crossing.
Yes.
And they're not allowing the child to cross. This boat is capsized, and this body is found by the ocean. And many people, like for me, there's a very close friend of mine, a cartoonist, a Sudanese cartoonist called Khalid, who does a cartoon. Al Wai does a, painting, I think, later about it. And for me, this, again, what you talk about suddenly brings this all the way local. And see, I'm just trying to contextualize it in this largest scale, because again, between Sri Lanka and India, there's this whole thing of the fishermen who can come and fish and who can't come and fish, Again, within Sri Lanka, there's this whole thing of the Chinese occupation of the water and who owns the water, you know, with the new ports that are emerging. And even Shiva shared that photograph of his suspension, right, in the fishing nets. And for me, again, when I see the photograph of the body lying on the ocean, and this whole thing of migration, again, within even a local context of India, Sri Lanka, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Nepal, in today's time, especially in an Indian context, when we have something called NRC and CAA, I don't know if you're familiar with it, but it started in Assam, and before the pandemic, there were almost riots, and then you had Shaheen Bagh that emerged. And photograph becomes very powerful because even in an Indian context today and a Sri Lankan context, we have this whole thing of fishing rights. Who can fish in whose water? Within Pakistan and India, we have this whole thing of, you know, sailors, and these are not big people. These are low caste people who are held in prisons. Between India and Bangladesh, we also have that. Between India and Bangladesh, we have this whole war of the ilish. It's a fish which the Bengalis hold as a very exotic and a very, you know, it's a traditional dish that is made from it because it goes up the river. You know, it's a seawater fish, but it goes up the river to lay its eggs. It's a very, you know, peculiar fish, and then it comes back down. And again, between Bengal and Bangladesh, everyone has this history of eating this fish, and there are many preparations, and, you know, during festivals, it's very expensive. But again, you know, who gets to fish it? You know, and now in India, we have in Assam, which is just above Bangladesh, we're building these huge detention centers where we say, okay, the Bangladeshis who are into India, we're going to put over there. Or if you're Muslim, you're going to be put over there, you know, things like that. And for me, that photograph of yours raises all those questions. And again, that orange, and, you know, even within the Sri Lankan context, between, while we were talking earlier, between who is Tamil, who is Sinhalese, you know, and how that plays out. And for me, human form in those various poses, holding it, and even there you problematize the whole position of caste, because in terms of the shape the body takes or what shape the body can't take, who is allowed to make certain forms and who is not allowed to make certain forms. No, because even when you draw those lines, it comes from a certain kind of a mandala and a system, at least in the Indian, you know, system. When you look at
Yes.
You know, even when you look at how Chanakya builds the village map, you know, where the Brahmin sits, where the Kshatriya sits, where the Vaishnav, you know, and where the Dalit Bahujan, where the Harijan is allowed to sit, you know, and the outskirts and the corners, and what forms they're allowed to take. Because the form the body can take is from the labor the body does, right? If you are dexterous fingers, it's because you have been weaving with it. If you can bend in a certain way because of the labor of tilling and working in the soil. Otherwise, how can you take that shape and form? Because the evolution of man is through labor also, right? And then because we do not want that man to progress or the woman to progress, we will deconstruct with violence that body. So there's no genetic transfer of the body from one generation to the next generation. And we do that so that we can suppress a human population and a race.
Let's hear from from other artists who are present here right now. Priyanka, Kapila, Shahina, Zafar, Shakuntala, they all are here. So who would like to start?
Kalpana, you can go.
Hi, both of you, Kapila here.
Sorry, Kapila.
It's not a question. It's just my deep appreciation for your conversation, and for Shiva. Just listening to you is just it's disturbing, but it's also disturbing in both of you. It's listening to the conversation, and, you know, about Shiva's art is just important kind of disturbing. And thank you Thank you very much. I just wanted to say that I'm not in a position to ask any questions, but I just want to show my appreciation. Thank you. And I'm actually a huge fan of Sri Lanka, mainly because of the culture, the art, and I'm from Kerala, so I feel very connected just by I mean, we're so close, but I've never been there, and I've always wanted to, and I'm really disturbed by what's happening there right now. I also have friends there, and yeah, it's just everything that you've been through over so many years now. I just want to say, I mean, it's great to see brilliant artwork. However, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Hello, Shahina.
Oh, hello, Shiva or
Yeah,
Siva.
Siva, yeah.
Siva and Wency, you both. I have in starting parts I've missed something, but then further the pictures and that you slides showed us a little bit confusion that whose work was that is are merged or just yours. Who Shiva was showing, I think, that
Yeah,
pictures and performance.
yeah,
Yes,
that was
Shiva.
mine. That was mine.
Okay, that was your. Okay, pictures were very attractive. That you showed three pictures. The two pictures were that just hand were was cleared. Okay, and I can relate this with my city, Gavatar, seaside also. And the point you said that was what Ilish
Yes,
Machi.
Ilish March, yeah.
Ilish Mas. In Bengali we pronounce. So from the childhood I heard from my mother that the Ilish Mas is very tasty and a traditional food. So I just wanted to ask that have you tasted?
Yes,
Have
I
you?
have.
Okay, is this available in also Sri Lanka?
No, no, I'm in India. Shiva is
Okay,
in
you
Sri
are
Lanka.
okay. In India also this is famous.
Yes, yes, in Bengal it is very famous. And it
Yeah,
and from
Kolkata.
Bengal and because the Bengalis now live in every part of the country, they
Yeah.
sell the fish in every part of the country also. And I learned how
Okay.
to cook it from the Bengalis with
Okay,
mustard
nice.
and with mustard and green chili.
Okay,
And I
that
wrap it
was
in banana leaf or I wrap it in haldi leaf and I'll steam cook it.
so. Please share your recipe in WhatsApp group.
I
We'll
will.
also
Done.
try.
Done.
Okay,
It's lots of
okay.
bones are there, but it's very tasty.
Okay, I just heard from my parents didn't eat because in here also are fish, but famous fish and very tasty, but a different name. You know, like Baluchi names.
Okay.
We'll share inshallah someday.
Inshallah. I agree with you. I hope for that soon.
Hi, everyone. And hi, Wency, Siva. Wency, it's so lovely to hear you when you are talking. One can listen for a long time. I really appreciate how you see things. And it's really thought-provoking and your art making and all that. Really grateful to Masuma for introducing you guys. Also, Siva, I call you as my brother, right? And you're my machang.
Because we are black, no?
And our hair.
You know, that Machan, that pub in Colombo is so good. Machan. I remember that. Anyway.
Yeah, also not just that. My middle name is, it's a Tamil name. And so, yeah, so things like that, of course. But the little we know each other's, though we are very sweet friends. When I was listening to you, I was thinking that, though we are friends or brothers or sisters, there's still much more to know about each other. And yes, like, the current way of the country or the history and everything, like I was thinking that, the very little world that we too have, like
Yeah.
we like the effort that we are doing within all the all the art making or with the connections. I'm really hopeful that we will be able to trust each other and bring our friendship into some deeper level and make it a better place. Yeah, I felt very emotional. And also thank you, Masuma, for bringing this whole platform, like Masuma and the group, so that we are thinking and we are uh, aware, we are bringing up the ideas and all that. Yeah, thank you so much.